right, let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Heidi Curtis. Jennifer Oberlin. Jane Goddard.
Here.
Lori McIntyre.
Here.
Tucker Billiter.
Here.
Michael Nichols.
Here.
John Gilbert.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. First time on the agenda is approval of the minutes. You should have in your packets the June 17th meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions on those? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minutes of June 17th.
Second.
Is that Mr. Nichols? Tucker.
Sorry.
Billiter. And then all in favor?
Yes. Yes.
You say that.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, move forward. We're moving on to new business. The chairperson report and administrative approvals. And I will defer to Vicky on that. I have no report personally, so.
Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Administrative approvals for the period from June 9th, 2025 to July 7th, 2025. We have 5. At 521 Steel Street, we approved an application for a rear deck. 229 3rd Street, a rear privacy fence. 511, 513 Capitol Avenue, a fascia sign for a bed and breakfast. 812 Shelby Street, miscellaneous repairs on the exterior in kind. And 125 East Campbell, replacement of an asphalt roof in kind. That's all I have.
All right, any other reports of that nature? All right, then I guess, the next item, item 2.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Michael Nally is requesting a certificate of appropriateness to replace the front door at the property located at 214 East Campbell Street. The property is more particularly identified as PVA map number 0623116006000.
Okay, this first case is at 214 East Campbell Street. It's for a certificate of appropriateness. The house is located in the Special Capital Zoning District. You may remember this property because it came before the board last year with regard to replacement windows. This house was constructed between 1912 and 1925. It has neoclassical features, and the front porch entry area of the house shows some craftsman bungalow influence. The house is contributing to the South Frankfort Neighborhood National Register District. As I mentioned, the applicant previously requested approval for vinyl windows in 2024. Those were approved with the condition of exterior muttons applied to the upper sashes. And this application is to replace the front door. The request is partially compatible with the design guidelines for Special Capital, and staff is recommending approval. Here is the property as shown on the PVA map. Here is a clip from the 1912 Sanborn. You can see that it has not yet been constructed. And here's a 1925 map which shows it in place, but as a paste over. That paste over happened when it was updated in 1955. The survey form indicates that maybe the front porch is an alteration, and this paste over could be indicating that, because you can see how it's been divided on the paste over. I couldn't blow it up bigger on for the slide, but it's also in your staff report. Here's a close-up of the existing front door. It is a wood door. It has 15 divided lights. This is a type of historic door that I have seen on other craftsman-style houses in the neighborhood. And on this slide, I put up, for comparison, a picture of a house not in South Frankfurt. This is in Chicago, actually. This is a Chicago version of a Craftsman bungalow. And you can see kind of that arrangement of the front room with the ribbon of windows and the recessed entry. It's a really common feature there. This tends to be a feature found on Craftsman houses where the winters are colder. The proposed door that the applicant is wishing to install is rendered on the left, adjacent to a picture of the existing door. It is a Craftsman style. It is comprised of medium density fiberboard, which is a kind of has a wood-like appearance and can be stained. There are photos that were included with the staff report that show the applicant's issues with the current door and why they are requesting replacement. We do find that the new door is compatible with the house's architecture, and given the level of change that has already taken place on the house with the siding and the window replacements, we do not feel that the new door has a substantial impact on the existing integrity of the house or the integrity of the district as a whole. And so we are recommending approval in accordance with the findings and conditions that are on page 3 of the staff report. And I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions? Being as there are none, is the applicant here?
Yes.
Feel free to come on up. Please state your name and address where you live.
Michael Nally, 214 East Campbell Street.
Okay, thank you. Any opening remarks or anything you have to
I just
add to
appreciate
the
the
presentation?
appreciate the board's time and hearing this, and just look forward to getting approved for this project. The door, the door is just not, the existing door is just becoming non-functional. It's overdue to be replaced. I've worked with the best I can, like change locks and stuff, but it's just not, it's becoming more trouble than it's worth. So that's the reason for the replacement. So, yeah. We feel like the door that we propose, we feel like is about as close as we can find to match the existing door. So we'd appreciate the board's consideration. So.
Anybody have any questions?
Nope.
I do, just a minor question. So your main issue with the door is with the, holes from previous locks and knobs and
Yeah.
that sort of thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Are there other problems with the door?
No, just, you can tell the age of the door. It's showing some wear and tear, but my wife has repainted it a few times, but you can just see that you can tell you can see the age on it. Other than that, like I say, I've had to replace the locks on it. I think the locks I replaced must have been the original locks on it, because I couldn't find hardly anything to match it, and I had to make do with what I could to get the locks changed. There's a gap, the lock that I put on it now, there's a gap between the door and the frame. So it's not ideal by any means.
Not
but
very weather resistant.
No, it's not.
You can
No.
probably feel it when you open it.
Yeah, it's not ideal by any means, but it works. It's functional. The lock is, but it's no way flush with it's not by no means flush with the door frame now. So,
I see.
but
Is the new door the same width and height as the existing?
well, yeah, from what we can tell,
Oh,
yeah.
very
My
close.
wife's been talking with Lowe's about it, about the width and the height and all that. So she's working on that aspect of it. So So, yeah, that's in the works with all that, the measurements and, yes. So,
It looks like it's 36 by 80.
Any other questions?
No.
All right, thank you very much.
thank you, I appreciate your time.
All right.
Does the audience have questions?
Anybody from the audience have questions or any comments? All right, with that, any discussions or motions?
Let's see, I move that the board approve the appropriate, excuse me. In accordance with the articles listed on page 3, under the staff recommendations for approval, that the board approve the condition.
Certificate of property.
Certificate of property for this property at 213 East Campbell. Sorry, guys.
Second.
214.
214.
214, sorry.
And we hit a second?
I second that one too.
Yeah. There you go.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right.
Ready for a roll call?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Goddard?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, next item, number 3, please.
In accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17 of the City of Frankfort zoning ordinance, Julia Van Norwick is requesting a certificate of appropriateness for exterior alterations, including changes to the location, sizes, and design of some of the north and west openings, along with the construction of a new rear deck as part of a post-flood rehab for the property located at 104 Wilkinson Street. The property is more particularly identified as PBA map number 061-2402-007.00.
This is also for a certificate of appropriateness. This property is located in the Special Historic Zoning District. It is a brick vernacular cottage with a rear L that is constructed perpendicular to the brick portion of the house. The L is frame construction, and it was built around the turn of the 20th century. It is contributing to the Central Frankfort National Register Historic District. The request is to make some alterations on the exterior to the location, size, and arrangement of some of the openings on that rear L. The application also includes the construction of a small deck, which by itself would normally receive administrative approval. It does meet all the design guidelines for the district. It's on the rear elevation. It's not visible from the front. This application is in conformance with the design guidelines for the Special Historic Zoning District, and staff is recommending approval with conditions. Here's a PBA map. You can see how close this property is to the river, and it was affected by the recent floods. The 1907 Sanborn map, which is the first time it shows up. Prior to that, there was some industrial activity going on in this little area of North Frankfort by the river. I think there was like a lumber yard and some other things. But by 1907, it looks like the block is beginning to be built out as you see it today. This property did come before the board in early 2024 with an application to construct a garage and install that ribbon driveway, which you all did approve. The slide here shows the existing conditions. If you're looking at the rear wall, which is on the left-hand side, and the proposed changes are on the right. That shed roof section there on the north side was originally an open porch. That's how it is delineated on the 1907 Sanborn map. So at some point it was enclosed, and there was that rear doorway put in at the rear. And the applicants, they are constructing a deck there and would like to change the exterior door to open out onto the deck. And they propose to add a transom window above. They have salvaged the transom window. I think it might even be coming from the interior of the house somewhere. But they did submit that photograph as possible design for the back door. This is a plan view showing the dimensions for the deck. It's approximately 8 feet deep and 14 feet wide as drawn here. Decks at the rear of the property are typically administratively approved if they meet the design guidelines. This one does. It is on the rear elevation. It is not highly visible. It meets the other stipulations listed in section 4.6.5 of the Special Historic Design Guidelines. Okay, these photos show the existing conditions on the north side of that L. You can see that band of windows there. Those are not historic windows. They were added after the porch was enclosed. As I understand it, they are fixed and not operable. They are requesting that they remove these windows, and a new door opening will be added on that elevation as shown in the right-hand rendering. Here's another perspective. Along with the applicant's submission of the door they are proposing to use for installation at the bottom. It's a wood door with like a 3/4 light. And it is compatible with the home's architecture. And staff does find this proposal compatible in concept with the requirements of the zoning regs, the design guidelines for the Special Historic District, and the findings found on page 4 of the staff report. We are recommending approval with the recommended conditions, also on page 4, including the condition that the applicant work with me to finalize details such as the material selection for the new window, which was not included in the application. And that's all I have. We did receive one communication from an adjoining property owner. And I copied that, and
That was
it's
what was
there.
sitting here.
Yeah.
That was not in the packet.
It was
but
emailed
it's an attachment.
to you earlier today, and I also made copies for you this evening.
I think I'll start with questions, if that's all right. Did I understand in reading through that the opening was an existing opening on the north side?
Yeah, there was a
And they're
reference
reopening it?
on the application. There was a reference that there had been some archival evidence that the opening on this north side previously existed at some point,
Mhm.
but there was not detail submitted with regards to exactly what that archival evidence was.
Okay. And the deck on the back, just for clarification, that's roughly 8 by 14, because I know the letter that we got mentions that, and it's rough. I mean, 7, 8, 14, 1, 8 by 14. Any further, I guess, details there? Information? I mean, it appears that the visuals that were there, I mean, I don't have any issues there, but I didn't know.
Right. I would like to make a comment with regard to that submission of the letter, just because there was a reference to a conversation that I had with the adjoining property owner. And we did not have a long conversation, but the point I was trying to make with Ms. Marshall was that this is a design review process to determine whether the proposal fits with the character of the house and the neighborhood. As well, you know, as the district as a whole. She called because she wanted the exact dimensions, and you probably noticed I did not include exact dimensions in the text of the staff report, although there was a scale drawing included. at the rear. And it shows the relative size of the deck to the historic house. So when you all get a proposal, there typically is a rendering, at least one included. You're not often reviewing drawings, though, that are ready for construction. You're getting something along the way. And so when dimensions are provided, they're considered kind of approximate, right? And since the review often happens early in the process, there are sometimes adjustments that happen later. For a variety of reasons. Of course, staff would bring it back to the board. That's always a condition of your approval. If it changes enough that it no longer meets the design guidelines, or sometimes in your conditioned approval, you'll allow me to make minor decisions. Whether or not something needs to come back, if it's at all controversial, that usually happens with a discussion with the other planners on staff. And we typically, for new construction, like for a deck or whatever, would run it by Public Works, just to make sure they didn't have issues with drainage and stormwater and that sort of thing. Proposals for decks that meet the design guidelines typically are administratively approved. And if this particular deck with these dimensions had come to the office, without any of the other requests, we would have just issued a permit for it. And if they came back and said, oh, well, it's 14 by 8, but we need to make it 15 by 9 for this reason, that typically would also be administratively approved. This deck does meet the design guidelines. It's not visible from the public right-of-way. So if the size changed or expanded to such a degree that we felt like it no longer met, what was submitted, or it changed the scale of the deck relative to the house to such a degree we didn't feel like it fit anymore, we most certainly would bring it back to you. Right now, the deck is less than 7% of the square footage of the house.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? As there are no other questions, is anybody here to represent? Feel free to come on up. Please state your name and address.
I'm Julie Van Norwick. This is my husband Scott. We live at 104 Wilkinson. So when we were doing remediation from the flood, we discovered when we took some walls out of that back old porch addition, there was an original door still in the wall that was covered up with siding. We knew there was a door there at one point because the cement steps are still out there. And when we saw that door, we thought, oh, this is a great opportunity. We can put things kind of back to where they were historically, and then we can rearrange our interior footprint of that back addition so it better serves the uses of our family. So we said, well, if we can put the door off to the side, we can remove the door in the back and then put another bathroom in. And the only visual part of our house to the river is just one window in a back room, and we bought the house on the river for the reason of the river. Well, let's put something in there where we can actually see outside. So this is a good opportunity for us to put something, a door in there that's mostly glass where we can see out and enjoy the river and the cliff behind us, and try to fix some things that need to be repaired on the house at the same time. The size of the porch, we call the porch in the back, is almost the exact size as the porch on the front of the house. They're almost the exact same size.
How much flooding did you guys get? How much water?
We got about 2 feet. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
not good.
it was significant, yeah. So we're still working through that. But we'd like to source an old door for the side entrance to the house if we can find one. But it all depends on what's out there and what swing it is, and so that would be our preference, to get an old door for the driveway side. But if we can't there's a mahogany door that we like that will fit that opening.
Anybody else have any other questions?
I'm good.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thanks.
Any other public comments or anybody here relative to? Please state your name and place of residence.
My name is Libby Marshall. My husband, Prentice Harvey, and I own 106 Wilkinson, which is adjacent
Mhm.
to the property you're considering tonight. And just to clarify our concern, we want to have some assurance that there isn't a point in time in the future that this deck could expand such that it becomes an imposition on the backyard of 106 Wilkinson. As it's situated right now, that deck will not line up with the backyard of 106 Wilkinson. And these are very narrow lots. You don't presume to have privacy if you purchase property in this situation. But it would at least give us the sense that if our good neighbors, the Van Norwigs, are entertaining on their deck, we could at least be outside without feeling that we're being peered on in the backyard. And so that was our concern. The dimensions of everything seemed to be very important, but we noticed there were none for the deck. And that's why we engaged in this conversation, to see if we could establish that there would be dimensions for that deck as seen in the proposed scale drawing. So that's what that's all about. Any questions that I can answer?
So I understand, like, your letter basically supports what's in the proposal as
Right.
recently revised.
Yes, it
and
does.
edited.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions?
Which side of their house are we looking at? If we're looking at their house, are you on the garage side?
We're on the garage side.
Okay. So they probably wouldn't extend their deck in front of their garage to get any closer to your house.
Well,
One would hope.
it's not the closeness to the house. No, they wouldn't go over their own driveway, of course. It's how far it extends into the backyard.
Into the backyard.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments?
Thank you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
With that, are there any other comments, questions, or motions?
If I can find the page, I'll make a motion. Is it on 4? There we go. I move that in accordance with Articles 4, 16, and 17, and considering the testimony, evidence, staff analysis, and findings, the application requested by, keep forgetting their name, I apologize, the Van Orwigs, for a certificate of appropriateness for the property at 104 Wilkinson Street. Nice. Be approved, subject to the conditions recommended by staff.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Billiter?
Yes.
Ms. McIntyre?
Yes.
Mr. Gilbert?
Yes.
Ms. Goddard?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Well, with that, we come to our last item. Any other citizen comments to be made? I see no one approaching the podium. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
The second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Thank you all.